Let's now invite Frank McKenna, former Canadian ambassador to the U.S. in this conversation. Sir, good afternoon and thanks for your time. We heard from the Prime Minister last hour confirming he spoke with the President and also saying that scrapping of the DST on the President's demand, they were expecting this. Your thoughts on how this has played out, sir?
Yeah, well, the digital services tax is not a new concept. It was originally discussed about 4 years ago, and it finally made its way into legislation. The parties involved in the negotiation, I think, always knew that it would be something that Canada would give up. In fact, our Minister of Finance openly mused about it during the past week. So it was always a negotiating item, and obviously the Government of Canada decided it was time to play that card now, and did so. There is an argument to be made that in this internet era, we've got to find some way of developing consensus around the world on how to regulate trade on the internet, and that could be online gaming, a lot of which originates in the United States as an unregulated, or online pornography, or e-trading, e-tailing, and could involve the digital services tax, such as the one that Canada proposed. So obviously that's going to get kicked down the road for another day, but it's not to say that there wasn't a serious reason why the tax was originally introduced.
But let me ask you, sir, in terms of how this has played out, should this have been a part of the negotiating process at the bargaining table? Because it seems as though Donald Trump took to social media to get us back in terms of bargaining and negotiations, and it didn't seem like as though it was a part of the whole deal right now.
Yeah, that's an interesting observation. My view is that it should have been part of the entire package of items being negotiated. And clearly, if that were the case, President Trump preempted the negotiation by demanding that as a condition precedent for proceeding further. I think that if I had a preference, it would have been that we might have agreed to suspend the implementation of the tax until such time as the negotiations were concluded, rather than simply withdrawing the tax.
The White House today, in their press briefing, is positioning this as though that the Prime Minister caved in to the President's demand. Where do you think this puts Canada in the negotiation process on the bargaining table?
Well, I think we're in a very strong position in bargaining, and we have to make sure that we constantly reset the terms of the negotiation. We're not a supplicant here. The President is wrong when he says Canada is not needed. We're the biggest buyer of U.S. goods. We're also the biggest seller of raw materials to the United States, which they use to create jobs in their manufacturing sector. Not only that, but the United States, when they talk about security, they've got hundreds of thousands of troops all around the world, 300,000 in the Pacific, 50,000 or more in Japan, 50,000 or more right now in Europe, even 10,000 on the Mexican border. But they don't have a single soldier on the Canada border, the largest border in the world, and haven't had for the last 100 years. Because when it comes to security, we've always had their back. And it's about time the United States was not so presumptuous about our friendship and our value as a partner. And I think we need to spend some time letting the President know this is not a one-way trade. We bring a lot to the relationship, a lot of raw materials that are absolutely critical to the United States of America.
Great insights as always. Frank McKenna, former Canadian ambassador to the U.S. Appreciate your time, sir. Thank you for joining us.